I'm Craftyandy, and these are my thoughts. I recently got through watching a Frontline documentary about the January 6th insurrection incident, and it had an interview with Barry Croft, who was involved with the Wolverine, Michigan militia who plotted to kill cops, anyone in their way, kidnap and execute the governor, Gretchen, Whitmer, after a public trial over the lockdown mandate regarding the COVID virus that is still raging on in this country.
People need to realize that they are being ruled by an illegitimate authority that is in effect.
I just don't get it. There is a real, tangible problem with unregulated corpos who poisoned our water supply, burned our crops,
and delivered a plague unto our houses!
Incompetent leaders who get misled by Facebook posts. The United States president is basically a meat puppet piloted by soul-sucking demons. Yet the ones willing to rally and take violent actions are the ones in support of a billion-dollar reality TV star. As if this guy has the common person's interest in mind. The real owners of the nation have the people busy over abortion rights and making hour-long angry rants over the current generations of movies and stories being more socially relevant to the current generations of people who grew up to start making them. Go fucking figure.
It's weird to see them freak out about this when there have been straight relationships in comics forever. This from Josh Mandel, who is a pro-Trump Senate candidate in Ohio, tweeting that bisexual comic books for kids. They're literally trying to destroy America. It's amazing to me how this is the same Josh Mandel. Trump Senate candidate Josh Mandel suggests liberal forces behind pandemic Capitol riot. This apparently is not unrealistic for Josh Mandel, but a bisexual superhero, that's unrealistic.
In another realm, we have these parents crying over mask and vaccine mandates in schools being implemented in an attempt to keep kids and adults from getting sick. I love to horse dildo slap some of these people.
Put something on their face or get a vaccine when they don't want to, or something in their body that they don't feel comfortable with. To me, that's being raped.
Wait a minute.
And that's
it's rape.
And you should not be raping our children with masks
hyperbole.
or vaccines.
Rape. Having your kids wear a mask and get vaccinated is the equivalent to rape. How about we go to Uganda, or the Nestle company, who has child slaves harvesting the cocoa plants in the Ivory Coast, or just southern Florida in the poor sections. I'll show you some fucking rape.
I'm free, but it don't take away the scars. I still got my own nightmares. Nobody know my story. Nobody know about the little boy that was raised on 21st Avenue in Tampa, Florida. And every time his baby sister went in the hospital, his daddy stuck his dick in his mouth. Sorry I had to say it that way, but that's the truth.
Another example is that there's a series called Dirty Money. The episode is Slumlord Millionaire. It's about Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who owns a major real estate company. You have a couple being interviewed who cannot keep up with their rent, along with random fees being tacked on every month. A couple that is not alone in their situation either.
One of the things that really jumped out at me when I first came to the complexes is that a lot of the doors would have these bright yellow or pink notices slapped on them, and those were the late rent notices. And you just see them every 3 or 4 doors.
The goal is not really to evict people. You want to squeeze as much money out of them as you possibly can through the threat of eviction.
This was before the COVID pandemic, so I can only imagine what it's like for them now. Guess who they vote for, thinking it's best in their interest?
And you folks are Trump supporters, right?
Yeah.
I am.
And why did you vote for Trump?
He takes care of business.
And nobody knows this stuff better than me.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do. I know more about drones than anybody. Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
In some ways, I don't blame them. These are people who don't really have a lot of free time on their hands, I imagine, and it's fun seeing crazy young college kids freak out over stupid shit. But nonetheless, the continuously baffling reality of the clown world we live in is that someone like me, for instance, can go the next 50 years or so not murdering or raping anybody while making videos like this, yet I'm a danger to families because of my gay polyamorous relationship. There's a man named John Doyle who makes much more money and has a lot more support than I do, promoting the idea that we need to repeal gay marriage in order to make straight couples and traditional values stronger in this country.
I personally think it would be kind of cool if we bred the left out of existence. And so to do that, we need to make it easier for people to start families and to have lots of kids and provide for and protect those families. What are some ways we could do that? ending no-fault divorce, rejecting any zoning laws that seek to end single-family home neighborhoods, thereby protecting the suburbs. This will defend expanding the right to carry for all U.S. citizens, constitutional carry, very epic, banning abortions, ending common core.
Very few of these things have anything to fucking do with fucking protecting the family, but whatever.
Reaffirming that marriage can only be between a man and a woman.
It's like, I believe in freedom. Accept freedom. I don't like that. I don't like the freedom to be free, but I like the freedom to obey conservative edicts. He's just fucking 120 pounds of shit stuffed into a human-shaped sack, isn't he?
This has been part of the Republican platform since 2016, by the way. Nothing is stopping this cumsock from pursuing the 1950s fantasy he has with the white picket fence, a subservient wife and kids to take his frustrations out on. Yet he thinks everyone should live the way he wants, whether they like it or not. In the realm of racism, you have groups organized against the idea of systemic racism, specifically critical race theory.
Another example of everyday Americans fighting back for their liberties. Keisha King is a Florida mom who took a bold stance against critical race theory, claiming that the teaching of race is in fact racist.
It's nice that they banned it from elementary schools across multiple states. I imagine we'll be banning calculus, quantum physics, and other subject matter that's mainly for high school and college courses.
Saying that children are learning critical race theory in our schools is like saying kids are learning quantum physics because they started learning about atoms and molecules. Critical race theory is something that is being taught in college, primarily in law school, and involves critical thinking and debate, where students are encouraged to examine the ideas involved and ask whether or not they hold up to scrutiny.
I don't care about what cringy corporate training slideshow or screaming college kid you pull out of your straw man stack. Whatever you have in mind of what critical race theory is and you think it should be banned, then you got it wrong. And if you think to look at this particular video for a in-depth explanation from a self-educated artist making commentary over drawing pictures, then I get the impression you don't even care to learn about it on your own, unless it comes from some biased talking head reassuring your preconceived assumptions. Point of this observation is that it seems that a lot of highly motivated people just waste their energy, trying desperately to be part of something important in the grand scheme of humanity, while the ones that really have such effective power are way beyond our reach in both position and money. The Black Lives Matter movement, the countrywide protests over George Floyd's death, did bring reform to a number of cities when it came to law enforcement. Anything short of that, however, seems very ineffective. We could probably use a less motivation in this country when you think about it. Let's explore the highly motivated people we have here right now. Dumb kids that steal shit for TikTok anal tickles. What's the next trend, I wonder? When Jackass was all the rage in the early 2000s and a new movie coming out, we had teens trying to jump off, on, and over cars, hoping to get on the show.
MTV insists this is not a copycat incident because it says Jackass has never aired a stunt like this.
No one has tried jumping through a car windshield, though. How about we make that the next TikTok trend? Jumping through cars. Extra likes if you can get your dad to do it. Then there are people who make it a hobby to just be complete assholes to others in public.
Hit me in the car she hit me with her car, and then she's trying to leave. She snatched my phone right now, and she broke the snap off. You don't have the authorization. I don't care. I have the authorization.
The authorization.
Oh, but it's against to hit me with your car.
That's a typical Karen line too.
What would usually happen with this kind of shit is you get some noodle wanker that pushes someone over the edge, and the ones being targeted get in trouble for knocking the squirrel slapper out. Though it may lead to a corporal-run dystopia, these days just pull out your phone, or likely they'll pull it out themselves, and then one way or another, it'll end up online making them a target for internet scrutiny, and may even cost them their job.
I'm coming.
Is she coughing on her?
Yeah. You're such shit. I listen to Facebook groups.
Of all the things, at least, the general response against Karens and Kevins gives me a little faith in humanity. Speaking of faith, religious fucknuggets continue to be very highly motivated, pushing for abortion bans, rolling back gay marriage.
Climate change is not scientific. It is a religion. It is an anti-Christ religion that has taken over the minds of the world.
Fuck these wackawoos. who think their shitty beliefs are a guide to how we all should live. Then you have your NEETs, incels, Sigma males, virtue clout chasers, doomer, or whatever falls under a similar class, all trying to one-up each other in terms of spreading the cringiest of ideas, conspiracies, anti-social attitudes, reactionary responses to social changes that have nothing to do with them, all highly motivated individuals. We see how these normies react to the slightest bit of inconvenience, whether it's getting a vaccine or not being able to say on YouTube. You show me a guy who enjoys playing online gaming, eating potato chips, and stroking his pee-pee to Transformer porn, and I'll show you a guy that isn't causing any problems. If there is some great collapse in this country or world, there will not be a damn thing you as an individual or a group of moral crusaders can do anything about it. It's not going to matter how superstitious we are or how woke we are, especially since climate change is a sure thing that is going to create a global crisis.
The report outlined 5 different scenarios for the planet based on how much carbon emissions are reduced, ranging from a future with incredibly large and quick pollution cuts to a future involving continued increases in carbon pollution. However, this time it's on track for a position between the next 2 scenarios down, with temperature increases between 2.1 and 4.6 degrees Celsius. Going over 2 degrees, we'll see far worse heat waves and flood-inducing downpours, according to the report. Huge damage has also already been done. Extremes such as heat waves, droughts, floods, and storms have become more prevalent.
In the end, nothing will get better outside of at least recognizing we are all human beings with our own personal experience that deserves a modicum of inherited respect. That being said, as bad as things are even now regarding our livelihoods, the way to avoid taking the black doomer pill is that there are 1,001 ways we are still living better than we ever had compared to just 120 years ago. These are just my thoughts though.
Because if we lose, we are going to be regarded as the greatest, most impressively pathetic group of people to ever exist, that we let our country be by communists. Literal communists who masturbate to cartoon animals because we were too comfortable watching Netflix and browsing TikTok.
Plenty of Nazi fucking furries too, buddy. I'm sure you're probably one, because considering all you motherfuckers are hypocrites, every time you speak your mouth against some fucking group, I just assume that you're a closeted member of said group. So the fact that you brought up furries apropos of nothing makes me think that your ass wears a fucking aardvark suit and gets fisted by a guy named Mr. Happy every fucking Tuesday. All right? So shut your fucking pie hole, you cock-sucking motherfucking miserable bitch. Weirdly, all the biggest dens of perversion are on the same places that conservatives frequent, like 4chan. You ever notice that?
Like, subscribe, share, give me ideas for topics and or art in the comments or email me. Craftyandy Patreon for high-res art, files, and sketchbook, and early episodes. Also Craftyandy under the Art Pal store for prints and art gallery. Streams on twitch.tv/CraftyAndy live. Check for scheduling, gaming, art making, and live commentary. This channel's mainly focused on entertainment and art, but if you want some real weirdness, go to the Weird Zors channel. Check that out. There is also an invite in the description for our Discord group. You can meet other creators such as myself, live streamers, gamers, artists. It's all there. Like, subscribe, share. As I said, good day.